Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again to another episode of the Snug Wrestling Podcast. My name is Edgar, and today we're going to be going over Friday Night SmackDown, which took place a couple of days ago. And, this was the first SmackDown that we saw the new Undisputed Champion CM Punk show up. And, they're back to 2 hours. So there was a lot of stuff that was advertised for this episode of SmackDown that I felt like I had to watch this live. Like Friday Night SmackDown, I haven't been watching live the last few weeks, but this time I felt like that urgency that I usually get with Monday Night Raw. So I watched it live, and there's a lot of good stuff that happened here. And to help me go over what we saw on Friday Night SmackDown is our good friend Tame. Welcome, bro. I've heard the news, man. You're not doing too good, but you still push through and you're still rocking with this tonight.
Yeah, my dumbass decided to go to the pool and completely forget sunscreen. So my back is fucked right now. Like I was cooked yesterday. My chest a little bit on the top. It's a bit burnt. The entirety of my back and a little bit of my shoulders as well is cooked right now. It hurt to even put on a damn shirt this morning, let alone put on pants as of yesterday. So, yeah, I'm in a little bit of pain, but still able to record all of that because I'm still able to put my thoughts in. I'm still cognitive, so it still works out. But overall, the show was pretty decent. I mean, like you said, we got Punk coming in, being a new superstar, wondering who in the world his opponent's going to end up being because we all know he will be defending that title at SummerSlam. So let's get into it.
Ah, yes. And they kicked off with the new Undisputed Champion, CM Punk. And Nick Aldis did the introduction. Nick Aldis is back. And they made the announcement that his suspension has been lifted. He's no longer on administrative leave, Nick Aldis. He's back to regular duty and running Friday Night SmackDown. And CM Punk shows up and he cuts the promo where he says, just like the World Heavyweight Champion, I plan to defend this championship the same way that I did the other championship. And if you remember, Tommy, CM Punk did try to defend the World Heavyweight Championship as much as he could, as much as possible, versus as many people as possible. And he plans to do the same thing with the Undisputed Championship, which is nice to hear because there's a lot of people that think that the workhorse championship is the World Heavyweight Champion. That's the championship that gets defended the most. The Undisputed Champion, not so much, right? So that was refreshing hearing Punk come out and say that. And he called out a bunch of people. CM Punk called out, let's see, he called out a few names. I know one of them was like Finn Balor, Damian Priest, Sami Zayn. Am I missing anyone else, Tommy?
He called out Gunther, called out Royce Keys, and then Cody Rhodes interrupted right after that.
Yeah. He didn't mention Cody Rhodes, but Cody Rhodes' music hit. And he comes out, and we have like this nice little confrontation between two of the biggest stars in the WWE. One of them is a former champion. The other one is a current champion, CM Punk. And a few months ago, I believe it was the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania, which was about 3 months ago. They had a promo, both of these guys, where they kind of left it as Cody was the champion and CM Punk said, just say when. But now the roles are reversed. Now CM Punk is a champion. And now Cody Rhodes is asking CM Punk, just say when. CM Punk says when. We've been avoiding each other. Our paths have never crossed. But finally, I think it's time, even though it's not going to be the main event at WrestleMania, let's do it at SummerSlam. Nick Aldis, who was still in the ring while all of this was happening, agreed. And he said, it's official. We're going to get Cody Rhodes versus CM Punk at SummerSlam.
I will gladly state what I've already stated before. Just the fact that I like the fact that the title is slightly involved here, but at the same time, look at the two names. You've got Cody Rhodes and CM Punk, two of the biggest names in the company right now. This feud did not need the undisputed title behind it. Just those two names will gladly push it through. But what I did like is the fact that there was a little bit of a callback. Just in actions alone, before Cody even opened his mouth, he grabbed CM Punk's chin and looked at his busted eye a little bit, which is the exact same thing that Punk did to Cody back when Cody had a busted up eye and was undisputed champion at the time. So that was a big callback. And then you've got the when situation. And now we've got the undisputed WWE title being defended at SummerSlam. Although this is not going to be the first time we will see these two in the ring, in which we'll get to that when we get to the main event segment.
Yeah, very true. We got a quick comment here. Shout out to Kevin Abreu. Says the opening segment was weak, and I can see why people would think that about Cody Rhodes and CM Punk. A lot of people aren't fans of them, you know, and nothing crazy happened here. I think what they're trying to build up here, this is the beginning of a road to SummerSlam that's going to take place in like 2 or 3 weeks. A lot can happen in 2 or 3 weeks, but I think the magnitude of this, the fact that we haven't seen Cody versus Punk, especially like for a title match. I know this feud doesn't need a title, but I think having the title involved makes it a little bit better because it's Cody, you know. Everyone expects Cody to always win the title back. He's always in that title scene. And it's CM Punk, and CM Punk can play like a good tweener. So it's interesting to see what's going to happen from here. And I think that's what they're trying to, that's like the major selling point is like, you know, these two guys have a lot of history. They go way back. They're in the prime of their careers right now, and they're going to lock horns at SummerSlam. So depending on what you're into, depending on what you're looking at, how you're looking at this could really mean a lot to a lot of fans. I know it does for me, but I can understand why some fans just don't care about this because a lot of fans feel like it's the same people in the main event scene over and over and over again. It's Cody and it's Punk, and it's like, but I like it. What do you think, Tommy?
I mean, I do get what they're saying, especially with the fact that the IWC entirely, like the majority of it so far, at least online, has been against Cody Rhodes. They are sick and tired of seeing Cody even in the title picture, like either chasing it or being champion, to the point where this most recent title reign, a good 3 weeks in, I saw people going, "Hey, take it off of him. I'm sick and tired of this already." So I do get it, but at the same time, it is the best in the world, the voice of the voiceless, against the American Nightmare. Just those two alone will absolutely put asses in seats just knowing that those two are on the card.
Yeah, definitely. All right, the opening match was a singles match. It was Finn Balor versus Tama Tonga. And apparently Tama Tonga is going on this little journey, this little personal journey of going after a bunch of people that he's had history from New Japan. So Tama Tonga and Finn Balor do have a lot of history in New Japan. And the announcers during the match, which by the way was a good match. I mean, we got two veterans in the ring, Finn Balor and Tama Tonga. So there was nothing wrong with the match itself. The issue that I had with this was the fact that the announcers were putting over the history from New Japan, and they kept talking about that, and they kept bringing that up. Like, yeah, they go way back to New Japan, and these two guys know each other so well. They've traveled Japan together for so many years, and it's like I can't get into that because I don't watch New Japan, and they can't play video packages for us so we can see what type of history they're referring to, right? Because they don't own that footage, obviously. And I was just thinking, like, the fans in the arena, they can't hear the announcer, so they're just seeing a random cold match. Well, not really random because Tama Tonga and Tala Tonga randomly attacked Finn Balor last week, and that's how we got this match. But it's like, why is Tama Tonga just attacking people from New Japan? Like, I don't understand what the point of this is. Like, why are they trying to sell us on stuff that happened in New Japan when most of the WWE audience doesn't even watch New Japan? So it's like, it's a good match, but I don't care. I did not care about this. What did you think?
I had a lot of fun with it, and I did, in fact, care about it because of the fact that Tama Tonga did actually sort of explain within one line why he attacked Finn Balor. He's trying to take out everybody from his past. He did it with Solo and the entirety of that group, except Tala Tonga, who's still there on his side. But his history with Finn Balor and how that's affecting him, that in itself is the thing that he wants to take out. And that's why he attacked Finn Balor last week. But this match, I did have a lot of fun with because of the history with it. I've went back and I've watched a couple of videos of these two in the past, and I do see the history of these two, and I do get why commentators were trying to push that over. But at the same time, that's exactly what Tala Tonga and Tama Tonga have been trying to say this entire time throughout the past like 2-3 weeks, is the fact that they do have that history, and that's the exact reason why he wants to take him out.
So, I mean, I'm guessing the whole point of this is what? Maybe Shinsuke Nakamura is going to make a big return and come after Tama Tonga or something, because other than that, like, okay, say well, first of all, Finn Balor won this match. So Tama Tonga trying to take people out from New Japan, it's not really working. He's off to a pretty bad start because Finn Balor, even with the help of Tala Tonga, Finn Balor still won.
I mean, when it comes to a return from Shinsuke, I'm just going to point this out, that throughout the past 5 years of SummerSlam, there has been a return at every single SummerSlam so far throughout the past 5 years. So it's a possibility that we get another one at SummerSlam this year. It could be Randy. It could be Shinsuke. There are a multitude of people it could possibly be. And I would not be surprised if at some point Shinsuke Nakamura does go after Tama Tonga, especially since Tama has been trying to get his hands fully on Shinsuke Nakamura since Shinsuke was United States Champion.
That's an excellent point. That's true. And that's something else to look forward to for SummerSlam. Yeah, that's a great call back there, Tommy. All right, let's talk about the Bloodline. The Bloodline was on SmackDown. Jacob Fatu and Jimmy Uso were looking for Solo Sikoa and Royce Keys. Jimmy and Jacob hit the ring, and they call out Solo Sikoa, but instead, they get Royce Keys. And Royce Keys has an issue with Jimmy Uso mentioning his name multiple times throughout the past few weeks. So Royce Keys tells Jimmy, if you keep that up, then we're going to have some problems, right? Then Royce Keys mentions the OTC. And that's when Jacob Fatu steps in. Now they've been telling us that Jacob Fatu and Royce Keys have a lot of history. They go way back for like 14 years, right? And one thing that Roy Keys keeps saying is that, Jacob, I'm your family. Blood don't make you family. Loyalty makes you family. That's something Royce Keys has been saying a lot to Jacob Fatu. Basically saying, like, I don't care if you're in the bloodline, but you're still my boy, right? So Royce Keys gets into it with Jimmy Uso. Jacob Fatu wants nothing to do with it. And he just tells Royce, keep the OTC's name out your mouth and everything's going to be all good, right? So we get a singles match, Jimmy Uso versus Royce Keys, and this is when shit starts getting crazy. So Royce Keys is doing his thing versus Jimmy, overpowering Jimmy. Obviously, he's a lot bigger. But during the match, Solo Sikoa shows up. And obviously, he tries to come after Jimmy Uso. But then Jacob comes out. So that plan kind of backfires. And Solo Sikoa coming out leads to Royce Keys being distracted. Jimmy Uso hits a spear on Royce Keys and beats Royce Keys 1-2-3. But after the match, Jacob Fatu manhandles both Solo Sikoa and Royce Keys. So Jacob finally turned on his old friend and chose the bloodline over loyalty and attacked Royce Keys. And he also had a little message for Solo. Did Jacob tell Solo on Monday, you better join the family or else, or something along those lines?
I have a feeling, but knowing what he said in the corner when Solo had the chair around his neck, he said something along the lines of, like, the next time you open your mouth, I'm not going to stop, which means that he was about to full-blown crush Solo Sikoa's skull in for a second.
Yeah, Jacob Fatu looked like a beast. Not just taking out Solo, but also Royce Keys. So yeah, man, looks like Royce Keys is getting more and more involved with this bloodline situation. And now we might get a match. We already saw Royce Keys versus Jimmy. Hopefully we see Royce Keys versus Jacob. And shoot, maybe one day we might even get Royce Keys versus Roman or Jey Uso, which I'm all for that.
I would love to see Royce Keys versus Jacob, especially with the fact that both of these men are absolute monsters, especially Jacob with how he debuted and a little bit after it, and then the entirety with Solo, and back when he was with that bloodline, now he's with Roman. So he has been shown to be an absolute monster day in, day out with both rosters because he doesn't care. He is absolutely willing to take somebody out. And I do completely agree with the comment that you pulled up, which says Royce Keys versus Jacob will be fire, because honestly, it absolutely will be.
Yeah, shout out to the Four Eyes Wrestling Podcast. Yeah, that would be fire. All right, Tommy, let's talk about the sickest, most disgusting thing that I've seen in a long time on Friday Night SmackDown. We had a match versus, Alexa Bliss versus Jade Cargill. And it's just, to me, it just looks awkward. I know Alexa is a former champion and she's like a veteran in the WWE. She's been there for years, but it looked weird. Freaking Jade Cargill selling for Alexa Bliss because of the size difference, but whatever. I'm not going to complain too much about that. But before the match, Jade Cargill said that she was going to hurt Alexa Bliss, and it's on Charlotte Flair. Whatever happens to Alexa Bliss is on Charlotte, right? So Jade Cargill defeats Alexa Bliss. There's a bunch of run-ins and interferences from Charlotte and B-Fab and Michin, and it was a chaotic match, right? But after the match, Jade Cargill grabs a steel chair, puts Alexa Bliss's arm in the steel chair, and fucking bends that shit in half, bro, in the most sickening way. Now, I know Alexa Bliss is double jointed. We've seen her do this before, like years ago. Maybe like, I want to say like 7 or 8 years ago, Alexa Bliss has done this in the past, but it's been so long that I'm pretty sure a lot of people forgot. Alexa Bliss did this thing. It was like an Eddie Guerrero thing where she pulled out her own arm and she showed the referee, oh, I'm hurt, I'm injured. And then it threw her opponent off, and then she popped it back into place, and then she rolled up her opponent, and then she won. That was her distraction, right? That's what she did a long time ago. She hasn't done it since then, right? But they did it on this episode of SmackDown. And although I hate watching that shit because that shit irks my soul, I hate seeing stuff like that. It worked because Jade Cargill got heat with this thing Alexa Bliss is trying to do that not a lot of people probably forgot because she hasn't done it in so long. It puts a lot of heat on Jade Cargill, and I thought that was great the way that they did that.
It really was, especially with Jade and Alexa. But I will say, Blood's been saying it for a bit. I've been saying it for a bit as well. That just Jade Cargill matches are so iffy. That's the problem. Almost nobody can get a excellent match out of her. Rhea Ripley barely got a good match out of her. Charlotte barely got a good match out of her. So that's the biggest problem, is the fact that Jade Cargill can barely ever have a good match. And that's the thing. But this also is not the first time that we've seen within the last couple of years something pop out of place. Because I will remind you, Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan. Liv popped Rhea's shoulder out of place, and mid-match, her response was, okay, and slams her shoulder right back into the announcer's desk, where she popped that sucker right back into place and finished that match with Liv. I believe that was the match where Rhea ended up getting betrayed by Dom, and Dom joined Liv at that point. So there is that factor.
Yeah, but this one is more believable because you can actually see it. Like, I think when Rhea Ripley did it, yes, it was like a work or whatever. They wanted you to believe, like, oh my God, Rhea Ripley just popped her shoulder back into place. But I don't think she really did. This, on the other hand, is fucking gross and it's hard to watch. And Alexa Bliss is just built like that. I don't think she actually got hurt. I hope not, because if she did, that would fucking suck. But it just made Jade Cargill look like a fucking heel, bro. And shout out again to the Four Ice Wrestling Podcast. They say Jade needs the heat. For them, they feel like that Jade hasn't been delivering. So yeah, this right here, this is gonna put Jade Cargill over like a fucking monster, I think. Any other thoughts on this, Tommy?
Jade is Jade, but what I find interesting is, didn't Io Sky come out in this match to kind of even the odds or something like that?
I don't remember. I don't think so.
Charlotte had issues with Michin and B-Fab, and then Io came out, I'm pretty sure. So that's going to be interesting to see, because I know that these six have been going after each other for a little bit. They even had a 6-woman tag, if I remember correctly. So there's a new team right there between the three of them.
I honestly looked away after that shit happened. I like got up and had to like walk away from my screen because I was like, bro, I hate watching that shit, bro. Work or not, double jointed or not, it's fucking gross. I'm sorry. So, what did you think of Trick Williams' limited edition United States Championship belt? Pretty gangster, huh? Pretty badass, huh?
Fuck, it's not. Hell no. That thing is ugly as hell. I hate that white fur. In fact, I've seen a post as of late going, wait, so we now have 2 women's United States title? Because the thing that separated the 2 of them is the fact that the women's had the white strap and the men's had the black, and now both of them have white.
Yeah, but the men's got the fur. The belt with the fur, bro.
The only good thing out of that belt, and that I didn't even notice at first until I rewatched it and went, hey, that's a new thing now. It's the fact that they finally put the blue behind the stars on the top of that belt. That's the only damn thing I liked out of this. That white fur looked ugly as hell.
Bro, that belt is going to sell like fucking crazy, bro, on the internet. Everyone and their mom is going to want to buy one of those. I want one.
I hope you have $700 because that's what that sucker's selling for.
Sheesh. I thought they were usually 500, but no, because this one's got the fur. It's a little bit more expensive, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I looked it up because I'm just like, okay, I know for a fact that they will be selling these. How much are they selling these things for? It is $700 for that title.
How soon did they put that shit on the website, do you think?
Right after the show went off air.
Did you check right after it went off air?
Yeah. Because I just wanted to see, like, I knew they were selling it. How much was it going to be? Right after the show went off air is when that sucker went out.
That's hilarious, bro. Well, yeah. Then we got the one-on-one match that was scheduled last week. It was announced last week, a singles match between two old buddies, old friends, Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams. Non-title match. If Carmelo Hayes won this match, then he gets a United States Championship match versus Trick Williams. And match was great. Carmelo Hayes did his thing. It looked like he was about to hit his finisher at the end. And out of nowhere, Carmelo Hayes gets grabbed. And at first I thought it was going to be Lil Yachty. But Baron Corbin made his return to the WWE after over a year of being out. Made his return on SmackDown. And he attacked both Carmelo and Trick Williams, making a huge statement. Picked up that furry championship belt. And it looks like Baron Corbin is back and he means business, Tommy.
So fucking happy about that because I know that he has been a absolute monster on the indies. He's been with MLW for a bit and actually won a couple of titles there. So, like, he even had, I cannot remember for the life of me what it ended up being, but he even debuted a new name while he was in MLW. So, Baron Corbin's back, and I could not be happier. Because, to be completely honest here, Trick Williams has been going off and on with Carmelo Hayes as of late. The pool is really starting to get a little bit dry on who Trick Williams can go up against. So a returning Baron Corbin coming for that United States title. Yes, goddamn please.
I was so relieved to see that because the rumors that I was seeing is that Baron Corbin was going to come back, but he was going to come back as Danhausen's fucking experiment that he's been creating backstage or whatever. And I'm like, God, that would be brutal for Baron Corbin. But now they're putting him in the United States title scene. So now it looks like Trick Williams has Baron Corbin, Carmelo Hayes, and Ricky Saints to worry about. But Baron Corbin came back and he's looking great. He looks like he slimmed down. He's in better shape than the last time we saw him. So, yeah, man, Baron Corbin coming back, making a huge statement. It's very exciting for the United States title scene on SmackDown.
Well, I'm actually very confused about that experiment, knowing the fact that we have not seen that bed with the long figure in it in quite a while. Because of the fact that it seems like WWE have kind of pivoted away from that portion of it and started to focus more on The Miz and Kit Wilson after both of them got electrocuted.
I couldn't tell you what the fuck that's about, honestly. And I hope we don't have to deal with that anytime soon. So, all right, Tommy, the final segment of the show, the main event of this whole thing was a Gunther and Nick Aldis had a segment, right? Gunther earlier in the show demanded for Nick Aldis to fix the title match at SummerSlam that he had made official between Cody and Cody Rhodes. Gunther demanded to be put in the match and to Nick Aldis to do his job and to fix it, right? And Gunther told Nick Aldis, I'll give you until the end of the night. Till the end of the night. So we get to the end of the night. Gunther calls out Nick Aldis. And Nick Aldis says, you're right, Gunther. I'm going to fix this. You want Cody. You want Punk. You're going to get them. You're going to get to fight both of them. And Gunther thought that he was going to be added. And it was going to be a triple threat match for the Undisputed Championship. But no. You're going to be facing them in a tag team match. And your tag team partner is going to be Sami Zayn. and you guys are going to wrestle at Madison Square Garden at Saturday night's main event. And that pissed off Gunther so much so that he said, fuck it. I'm going to beat the fuck out of the general manager, Nick Aldis. And boy, did he. He fucking kicked him. He stomped him. He choked him out. He tore his clothes. He disrespected him. He embarrassed Nick Aldis in the middle of the ring. Security guards were trying to break up Gunther and Nick Aldis, but they couldn't. And Gunther laid out poor old Nick Aldis in the middle of the ring to close out Friday Night SmackDown.
Yeah, this whole thing is screaming Pat McAfee versus Gunther for a bit. Back when that match happened like last year. So there is that. That's all with that. But I will say this. It seems that, and this probably is not in the replay, we saw something we weren't supposed to see. So I was watching Soto's stream, and at the very end, when the camera was supposed to cut, all of a sudden, Cody Rhodes comes out to save Nick Aldis. And I think that was supposed to be something for only the fans in attendance. But unfortunately, the camera didn't cut quick enough. So there's that. But I do have a feeling like at some point, Gunther will have another match with somebody who has not been in the ring for a hot minute, and that being Nick Aldis.
At SummerSlam, right?
I have a feeling like it may be there. It may be a little bit later on, but if it's at SummerSlam, then that's where it'll be at.
Yeah, either that or Gunther's going to disappear off TV for a long time for suspension or something because he literally just fucking crossed that line. He finally went overboard. Okay. They had a little argument. They said they talked a little shit to each other. They got suspended. But this is a whole nother level of you're literally attacking your boss at this point, you know? And this isn't the Attitude Era anymore. You can't really get away with that type of stuff, right? So I think Nick Aldis is going to have to, bro. He's going to have to come out of retirement or whatever. And like you said the other day, put on the trunks, Nick.
Yeah, this unfortunately is not Vince McMahon and Stone Cold Steve Austin's era anymore. So it's going to be very interesting to see where this goes and where this match will be taking place.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, dude, fucking pretty good episode of Friday Night SmackDown. We got some, main event of SummerSlam was announced. We got a good match between Tama and Finn. The storyline with the bloodline, the unfortunate attack on Alexa Bliss, Baron Corbin returning, and the closing ending of Friday Night SmackDown was just insane, and it was a great cliffhanger. So it's going to be interesting. Next week is going to be good. The road to SummerSlam is looking pretty good, I think. And this episode was pretty good as well. Tommy, thank you so much for coming through and reviewing Friday Night SmackDown. And we will see you guys tomorrow night for Monday Night Raw review. Take us home, Tommy.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was this episode of the Snug Wrestling Podcast reviewing Friday Night SmackDown. You can catch us every Monday right after the show for Monday Night Raw, Wednesday next day for NXT, and Sunday for good old Friday Night SmackDown. You've also got that one-on-one between Mr. Blood and our glorious leader Snug on TikTok Live, where they go through current and relevant wrestling topics. But mark your calendars, because this week you are not just getting one episode, you will be getting two on Wednesday as we go through our predictions for this Saturday night's main event. Go get your merch at teepublic.com/snug_wrestling. That is TEE public.com/snug_wrestling. Stay safe, stay savage, and stay snug. That was one time For the one time, 4 letters, 1 word. Yeet.